So, we're in Novosibirsk, in Akademgradok, in the garage complex. Behind me I have a 1971 Zaparozhets, or ZAZ 966. Alright, so the game plan is, a few days here, visiting Russia for 2 weeks, but we're also traveling to visit relatives. But I have some time alone in the man cave. This garage complex here was built in, I think the 60s. And this is the place where all the guys would, take a break from home, from families, and come to hang out. I'll show you what it looks like outside. So my goal is to get this thing up and running, maybe take it for a spin. It's been sitting since, let's see, the last inspection was in 1993. That's freaking sweet. So it's got no battery, no gas, oil hasn't been changed in 25 years. So maybe it's time for an oil change, I don't know. We'll check the level at least and go from there. But this thing is a little dusty. There's no compressed air or any of luxuries I have at home. We do have electricity though. I guess one light bulb. And the cool thing is, this is a 2-story garage, and it comes with a pit, so we can do undercar service no problem. We just have to lift up one of these panels and go downstairs. I'll give you a tour shortly. But first I want to get in here and see if we can at least find the service manual. So this is a real man's car, isn't it? It's all metal. There's no plastic. Oh, it smells awesome in here. I wish the camera could pick that up. Here we have our mandatory fire extinguisher and first aid kit. And here is the service manual. That's what I need. And also we have some, could be handy for a little show and tell. So it says ZAZ Автомобиль Zaparozhets. Automobile called Zaparozhets. That's the model name. 968A. Now that's the newer one. This is actually a 966 with the upgraded 40 horsepower fire breathing engine. So let's pop the hood and get started. So to get the hood open, I don't know if this is the hood or not, but it's the engine compartment. You push down in this paddle here. You heard it. Oh, this is awesome. So let's see here. We need our prop rod. So what do we have under the hood? It is a 4-cylinder, a V4 layout. It's 90 degree, 2 banks, 40 horsepower. There's for documentation here, let's take a close-up of the plaque. 1971, 966. Made in the USSR. It was actually made in what is now Ukraine, so technically this is an import, which is pretty fancy. Now here's the air cleaner. It's actually an oil bath type air cleaner, since there were no paved roads when this thing was built, so it lived in dust. There's the fuel pump. Let's check the oil level. Oh yeah, we're halfway. and it's not even black, so I don't think it needs an oil change. I don't even know where the oil filter is. We have our, so this is a fan and alternator in one. Now I'm not sure if it's an alternator or a generator, but it's supposed to charge the battery, which is not, you know, there hasn't been a battery in this thing for 20 years. Let's see, distributor, where's our ignition coil? This guy's our ignition coil, and see, there's a vacuum advance. There's a vacuum line right here. It goes to our intake manifold. So there's a set of points in here that triggers the ignition coil, and then just standard spark plug wires. So it can't be that hard. Awesome. Now what accessories do we have? Let's see, we have a spark tester. Oh yeah, genuine USSR spark plug number A23. Looks a little crusty, but we'll use it as a spark checker. And this is really neat. Here's a trivia question. What the heck is this thing? No, it's not a jack handle. You insert it into this hole. You look down here, it engages in these splines. Then you turn it over. So let's see if it shouldn't be seized up. I actually got a tripod, can you believe it? Compression in all 4 cylinders. That's a good sign. So we'll be using that to crank it over. Now this is it's a modified version. This is probably the sweetest part of the car. It has true dual stainless steel exhausts. Now, back in the day, you know, the original exhaust rotted out, and you couldn't just go to an auto parts store and, you know, buy anything back in the day. And if you could, you had to wait in line for days, and you were only rationed, you know, like the tires here, you can get 2 per person. So I think my mom got 2 and my dad got 2, and they still look in pretty decent shape, huh? Tube tires. But anyways, the exhaust, when the old exhaust rotted out, you know, you couldn't just buy a new exhaust. So my dad, he worked at the what is it, particle accelerator here, the Institute of Nuclear Physics, and you know, they had a welding shop, and he got this guy to weld him up a custom set of exhausts for, I don't know, a couple bottles of vodka maybe, because that was the currency back then. This was like probably in the late 80s. So now these exhausts, I'm sure, will outlast anything on the road. They're made out of you know, pretty thick stainless steel. Not gonna rot anytime soon. So once this thing fires up, you'll hear it. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we need to do. For example, let's try the pedals here. Oh, we lost the clutch. That's too bad. Brakes. Oh, let's see where it's dripping. Oh, right there. Yep. Yep. That's a shame. Let's try the brakes. Nope, no more brakes. Nope. At least the throttle still works. So we're gonna have to take, if we want to get this thing actually rolling, we got to fix the clutch and the brakes. Let's see, we're only at 70,000 kilometers, which is like, oh, I don't know what, 50,000 miles, like 45,000 miles. Low mileage vehicle. Let's see what else for controls here. We have our gear shift. So I do remember the gear shift pattern from way back in the day. It's first, second, third, fourth, and to get it into reverse, you push down on the lever, right and forward. That's reverse. Okay, there's our choke. Cool handbrake. Everything's probably seized up. What else? Comfort creatures we have here. Our ignition key. We have our lights, parking lights and headlights. And I think this even has a dimmer. Wiper switch. 2-speed for the wipers. Fan. For the heater, and the heater is a whole different animal. Here's a little heating vents down here, and the heater will look under the hood, or the trunk, I guess in this case, and it's actually an autonomous gasoline heater because in Russia you don't want to mess around with having weak heat in your car. So yeah, this thing just has like a fuel injector, and it spits in fuel and burns it. And there have been stories where the car catches on fire, but when it works, it works good. In terms of, let's see, we even have a little sprayer, manual pump to spray washer fluid on your windshield. In terms of gauges, we have our oil temperature, high beam indicator, let's see, the orange one. Let's see, one of them is a charge light and the other is an oil pressure light. I don't quite remember which is which, but they probably both flicker at idle. Green turn indicator signal, so it does have turn signals. And our fuel gauge, which worked at some point. Horn button and a classic woven steering wheel. Oh, and a glove box with random tools and such. And what's this? Tire pressure gauge. Apparently we're stuck at 2 atmospheres, which is like 28 psi, somewhere around there. Wow. Let's see what else. The seats. Let's beat that away. The seats are very basic. I think this model could have seat belts, but it did not. That was an optional accessory. Dome light. And the seats are not held down by anything. To get back here, you just flip it forward and get in. And the only thing holding it down are these little rubber stoppers. That's your height adjustment. So if you're in an accident, you're not only going to hit the metal dash, the seat is also going to flip forward and crush you to the windshield. So this is amazing. No headrests, so a lot of room. It's pretty airy. Nice couch in the back. And I think you do have a front and back adjustment. So, and the seat backs fold flat with the rear seat, so you can actually have a bed in here. So you can sleep here unless you want to suffocate from gasoline fumes from the leaking gas tank. Classic. Windows, little vents, and I think these might actually work. Wow. Fantastic. Alright, well, let me poke around here and see what the easiest place to start is, and maybe if we can get it fired up, we can do that and then worry about the brakes and the clutch before letting it down. Right now it's on blocks. Well, let's pop the hood. That's probably already open. Oh, this is what we need. So my dad back in the day made, from scratch, a 12-volt battery charger. So the battery lives right here. I don't know if this is positive or negative. And here's the other lead right there. I mean, this is wicked cool. I don't know, what does that look like? Starter solenoid, perhaps? Wow. That's your battery hold down. And basically, oh, here's the gasoline heater I was talking to you about. It has its own little carburetor. I mean, this is like wicked cool. Got your spare tire, pump, everything you need, and a whole lot of tools. We'll go through that later. Alright, we got our work cut out for us. Let's get to it. So let's go down to the pits. Oh, it's musty down here. We got a whole shelf of random spare parts, including pistons and camshaft. Oh man. Conrods. Basically, people saved all the spare parts they could because you couldn't buy anything. Here's an old fuel pump. So you didn't throw anything away because you never know when you would need to salvage that old part. Now let's see, we got a headlamp, a tail light, whole bunch of good stuff. Now that, my friends, is an awesome headlamp. That is wicked cool. So instead of you know, this little guy with LEDs, a little good old incandescent. Let's see what else we got in here. Nothing there. What I'm looking for is a bag of seals for the brake cylinder and the master cylinder. Oh, Play-Doh. This is like a trip down memory lane. Oh, we even got a nice vise down here. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, by the way, we have a third story. Guess what that is? It's a storage cellar for your potatoes and your preserves and stuff. Because you just stocked up for the winter back in the day and you know, ate what you had because you never know when the store is going to run out of food. Let's see here. Let's see what our problem is with this clutch. So here's a layout. So this is pretty advanced for back in the day. So obviously your transmission and then your drive shaft's going to the rear wheels. It's independent suspension with U-joints, beefy U-joints at either end. That must be normal. Hopefully the gear oil didn't leak out. There's our puddle of clutch fluid coming from the slave cylinder. And there it is, leaking right out of the seal. So we're going to have to take that apart. Oh. The breeze closed the door there. So let's start there. And the brake master cylinder is also having issues. So all the rubber seals are just, you know, from age, they're just shot. So let's see if we can get this thing on the road. It might be more than I can handle in a couple days. So I'm just digging through the trunk here. So this is how you have to travel back in the day. You at least needed a Soviet-style floor pump. That still works, the handle's just broken off. That's no big deal. You have about 10 spare belts. Well, and worst case scenario, this is how you fix it. Freaking wire tie. You can see it still worked like this. I mean, that blows my mind. So, well, there's the handle for the pump. I just want to clear out this area since we need to get to the hydraulic fluid reservoirs over here. The clutch master cylinder is under this metal cover that also covers the steering gear. Right down here. So I'm going to get the tools out, lay them out, see what we got. Definitely traveled with a good set of wrenches, including your, I don't know what this custom creation is for, but maybe the fuel pump or the distributor. Probably the fuel pump. Let's see what else we got. Oh, I remember these. We got some brake seals from 10 years ago when I rebuilt one of the wheel cylinders. So we might be needing these. Keep those here. See what else we got. Random bag of nuts and bolts. That's always handy to have. Spark plug sockets. Oh man, everything. I mean, files, screwdrivers, you name it. You traveled with it. Little socket set here. So let me get this stuff organized, and what we're going to do is tear off that cover and I guess start with the clutch first and see where it goes. Woohoo! Nice. So this right here is our clutch master cylinder, and there's our non-collapsible steering column going to the steering gear. And I remember my dad having some trouble with that, with a lot of free play in the steering, and you could make like really tight right-hand turns and not really tight left-hand turns. So, you know, this car's been through a lot of grief and not so many miles. But we'll do what we can. Well, here's problem number one. I took this boot off, and the shaft is just kind of hanging out. It's not really pushing on anything. I don't know if you guys can see that. So we got one push of the clutch master cylinder, and then the actuator got stuck in here. So I think we're gonna have to tear this guy apart and try to extract the guts, and I guess we'll have to replace the seal in the back. And hopefully we have something in here that will work, because again, spare parts for this thing are not easy to find nowadays. Yeah, that's all we can do. So let's see. This is our clutch fluid right here. You can see that reservoir feeds the master cylinder here, and then this guy is our brake fluid, and that goes down. If you we got the custom linoleum peeled back a little bit. There is our brake master cylinder, which, I mean, we're gonna have to take this apart anyways. Well, the actuator still seems to be there, but I remember when we parked it last time 10 years ago, there's a huge leak coming from here and it's dripping out the floor. So I know the seal in here is shot. So at least we have at least two seals to repair. You know, the guy here, the brake master, and then the clutch slave. And then the fluid that this thing takes for the clutch and the brake, they don't make that anymore. It's like this red transmission looking fluid, and we might put .3 in there and bleed the whole system out. I don't know, it's not compatible, but if you flush the whole system out, I don't know, the seals are shot anyways. That's the only thing available around here nowadays, so we got a lot of work to do. Alright, so since the car is sitting on blocks and I can't remove that wooden panel to to the clutch master cylinder or slave cylinder from the pit. We're going to jack the car up and move the blocks to somewhere else so we can get that panel out. And the jack here is old school, so you don't want to put your hand here. I mean, it works. Maybe we should check the pressure in these tires, which is non-existent. At least pump them up, and you know, want to get the blocks out and put them somewhere else. See, that panel is, it's actually a very big panel. I don't know where we can support the car. Let's see, maybe. And the whole garage complex is made out of bricks, so I'm sure we can find some bricks around here. Put them under the pinch weld. Let's see. It's not going to be the sturdiest thing, but now we're going down. Alright, so the jack is free, but I want to support it with both the jack and the blocks just for safety. So we got this side off. Let's do the same to the other side. Man. Oh well. Alright guys, we're getting somewhere. We're on OSHA approved working conditions, standing on a little piece of wood on a hollow chair. Hey, at least I'm not wearing sandals, right? Yeah, we're taking this slave cylinder off. It's caked in this sludge, probably from years of fluid leakage and dust covering it. And I discovered that they already invented NICOP back in the 80s here. This looks like a custom job with some kind of plumbing valve, but this is easy bend here, which is pretty awesome. I did not expect to find that. So we're going to unscrew this. Hopefully we won't lose too much fluid. And what's going on here right now is that piston inside is actually stuck. It does not want to come back out. Alright, I guess we can pump the pedal and see if it comes out. But this is kind of a pain to get off. It only took a 17 and a 14 millimeter nut. I had to extract that from the push rod that pushes on the fork right there. But no big deal. You know, nice clean working conditions. So let's see if pumping the pedal gets this piston to move, but you know, we're gonna have to get it out either way. I'm thinking I might just unscrew it from here and push it through with a screwdriver or something and replace that seal. Hopefully we have that in stock. Alright, we're getting somewhere. Find a little piece of wire, put it through the back of the master or the slave cylinder, and our piston is basically pushed all the way to the end now. You can see that right there. It goes whoop. Now we just need to take the circlip out, get the piston out, and hopefully we can find a new seal for it. So you know that time you wish you had circlip pliers, but you don't? Well, that little piece of wire is coming in pretty handy. I bent it around, stuck it in the circlip holes, and actually the circlip is coming right out. You can see why I was really looking forward to working on this car, because we're in the field. We don't have all the tools. This is it. Okay? No special tools at all. So you just have to kind of do your best with what you have. I'm going to straighten this guy back out, thread it through our hole in the back, and push this piston hopefully all the way out. Come on. I bet this seal's going to be shot. Oh, that's the seal. It's separate. Wow. Just a round rubber thing. It's not even an O-ring. Hopefully you can find some of these in stock, but oh, there's your problem, lady. Split right in half. All right, let's go looking for a slave cylinder seal for the clutch. I know you're not going to believe me, but in that stash in the basement, I found a rubber piece that looks exactly like our ripped unit, and this one's not ripped. I think we might be in luck. And also, I found a couple of these guys. So that is supposedly the rubber boot that goes on here like a dust seal, and the that rod goes through here. So I think we'll just rebuild this right now and put it together and hopefully find some fluid to bleed it with. We'll see. Alright, here it is, reassembled with a new seal. It moves, it returns, should be good. Now we're going to put this boot on. Now here's the actuator rod, and I'm not sure if the boot just goes kind of like that. I'll just crimp this thing on, I guess. So this will go right on here. Should anyways. I don't know. We'll connect it up and hopefully we have enough fluid in the reservoir to bleed the system, because I don't have any of this old fluid left.